Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the NASCAR Thunder 2004 full race live streams with a realistic broadcast. As always, I'm Keegan Schneider. We're about to hop on into this one, the Chevy Rock and Roll 400 at the Richmond Raceway. Just 11 races to go on this final season of NASCAR Thunder 2004 on the channel. It is either going to be one of the more anticlimactic championship hunts as far as us go, or it's going to be one of the greatest comebacks in NASCAR history. Can we get Terry Labonte his third career NASCAR Winston Cup title in this 2003 season? Coming off a rough 20th place finish at the Southern 500, or I should say in the Southern 500 at Darlington last night, followed by 3 DNFs in the 3 races before that has really put us quite a ways back in the point standings. Just to think that we were 4th in the standings just about 9 races ago. Just what a fall from grace it has been, back to 15th where we're at right now. Not out of it though mathematically. We'll have to see what will come about here today. There is high hopes for today's race for Terry Labonte. For one, he is on the pole for the second straight race. Most importantly, he won at Richmond earlier this year and won at Richmond in dominant fashion. He led every single lap in that race. Therefore, nobody else got any sort of bonus points, plus he had a max points day. That is the kind of day Terry Labonte is going to have to do right from the get-go as soon as that green flag drops. We'll take you through today's pre-race ceremonies as well as other related pre-race, I guess, festivities, driver, not introductions, but driver spotlights that the MRN crew will do for us. So, without further ado, we'll hop on into this one. Odie, welcome to the stream, by the way, and hopefully you guys enjoy today's race.
Short track racing under the lights tonight from the Richmond International Raceway. Barney, the fans are eager for the race to begin. Tell us about Richmond.
This is a fast track, even though it's less than a mile. Richmond's smooth surface gives the drivers plenty of room to maneuver and make clean passes, but you'll still see a fair share of bumping going on out there.
Terry Labonte had a great run in qualifying this week.
I could tell by the look on his face this morning how happy he was. I didn't even have to ask. Great to see him starting up front for a change.
Mark Martin has really shown some muscle in his qualifying this year.
Yeah, that team has made great strides in improving their qualifying setups, and it shows with all the top 10 starts they've made.
Ricky Craven looks to turn his luck around in this race.
Oh, he definitely wants to turn things around starting now. His whole crew seems determined to pull out of this slump. I wouldn't be surprised if they pull off at least a top 15.
Diamond Jeff, welcome to the stream as well. About to take a quick rundown of the starting lineup for tonight's Chevy Rock and Roll 400 again at the Richmond International Raceway. We'll start things off with the front row. Terry Labonte on the pole, as mentioned, for the second consecutive race. Mark Martin, who has climbed down to 3rd in the point standings, will be starting outside pole in 2nd. Tony Stewart, Bill Elliott will be in row number 2. Tony Stewart still trying to come on that comeback performance himself, sitting 9th in the point standings into today's race. Rusty Wallace and Bobby Labonte will be in row number 3. Bobby Labonte coming off a win in the Southern 500 yesterday, his 2nd win of the season. Kurt Busch and Jimmy Johnson will be in row 4. Look out for Kurt Busch here tonight. Kurt Busch was fastest in first practice. At row number 5, it'll be Dale Jarrett and Dale Earnhardt Jr., the top 2 points getters. Jr. leads the point standings over Jarrett by 91 points. Ward Burton and Jeff Burton will be in row number 6. We've seen this a handful of times this year with the Burton brothers starting in the same row. Both of them had a great run yesterday, including Ward Burton with a top 5 at Darlington. Kenny Wallace and Jeff Gordon will be in row 7. Gordon blew an engine yesterday, fell from 2nd in points back to 4th. Looking to bounce back today. Jeremy Mayfield, Greg Biffle will be in row number 8. In row number 9, it'll be Ryan Newman and Robbie Gordon. In row number 10, it'll be Joe Nemechek and Jerry Nadeau. It was a tough day for Hendrick Motorsports yesterday. 3 of them DNF'd, and Labonte finished 20th. Obviously, Nemechek being one of those guys that did DNF. Jack Sprague and Kevin LePage will be in row number 11. In row number 12, it'll be Matt Kenseth and Ricky Rudd. In row 13, it'll be Elliott Sadler and Mike Skinner. Sadler had a really good race yesterday in the Southern 500. Actually led nearly 50 laps midway through that race. Looking for more of the same today. Ricky Craven, our Daytona 500 winner on this final season of Thunder 04, will be inside row 14 with Johnny Benson to his outside. Ken Schrader and Brett Bodine will be in row number 15. In row 16, it'll be Jamie McMurray and Kevin Harvick. McMurray took over the Rookie of the Year lead once again, swapping it back with Christian Fittipaldi once again. Sterling Marlin and Jeff Green will be in row number 17. Christian Fittipaldi, we just spoke of a moment ago, back to second in the Rookie of the Year standings, will be inside of row 18. Kyle Petty to his outside. Another Rookie of the Year contender, Casey Mears, will be inside of row 19 with Hermie Sadler to his outside. In row 20, it'll be two part-time rookie drivers of Kevin Grubb and Chase Montgomery. Michael Waltrip starting all the way towards the back of the field. He also blew an engine in yesterday's race towards the end. Or, sorry, no, he finished 7th. My bad. He finished 7th in the race yesterday. But starting from the rear here today, Ashton Lewis will be rounding out the field as well. Ethan, Tim Irvin, welcome to the stream as well. And we have gotten through today's starting lineup for the Chevy Rock and Roll 400 at Richmond. The green flag is about to wave on tonight's race. Under the lights at Richmond short track racing on a Tuesday night. Green flag in the air. Labonte leads the field into turn 1. Labonte dominated this race earlier this season, led every single lap. The only other time I should say that is the only time we've been able to actually lead every lap. We only had one caution in that race as well. And quickly, Labonte will lead lap 1, just trying to get away early. Tony Stewart quickly to second. He got around Mark Martin there. Labonte does not want anybody else to lead a lap or get any sort of bonus points. Labonte wants this for himself tonight. One win in the last 12 races for Terry Labonte. And we mentioned only 3 top 10s in that stretch as well. Tony Stewart, this was the site of his first career win, so him qualifying up towards the front still early in his career. We know he knows how to get around this short track at Richmond. Yeah, it's good. I don't know what I'm going to do for next week with having, technically like 2 nights of midweek racing for the Cup Series. Like throughout the year, you'll see me, stream throughout like maybe an Xfinity or truck race from time to time, but the Cup races I definitely don't. I want to watch the Cup races myself, so I definitely wouldn't be streaming during them. And the same goes for the Clash and the duels next week. So I'm not sure what we're going to be doing streaming schedule-wise next week. We might have 2 days off. I'm not entirely sure. Because those are both 7 o'clock start time, so it's not like I can really stream a full race before that without starting it at 4:30, and that's a little too early for being in the middle of the week. Tony Stewart all over Terry Labonte, going to be looking for the lead. Labonte left the bottom open. Stewart washes up into Labonte off turn 4 as they make contact. And kind of an interesting start. Labonte might have came down a little bit, but Stewart was definitely climbing up the racetrack as well off of turn 4. Smoke tries to close in once again. We'll slide into the corner, nothing major. Labonte was awesome on the short tracks this year. Of all the tracks less than a mile in length, he's won 3 out of the first 4. And has won at each and every one of those tracks once. Bored, we're only 9 laps in. Can't expect too much to happen first 9 laps of every race. Stewart looks really fast. I don't know if Labonte's holding him up or not. I believe Jeff Gordon was probably the next closest competitor to Terry Labonte in the first race at Richmond, if I remember correctly. Gordon had a rough break yesterday, blowing that engine just past the halfway point. Finished 42nd. Went in second in points, 46 back, and he's now over 100 back. Well over 100. I think it was like 141 off the lead, if I remember correctly. And he's fallen from second to fourth in points. The top four are still within one race of each other. So that being the case, pretty much all the way through the season, we've seen at least that many drivers within one race of each other. It has been a very tight points battle. This might not be one of the more... Well, we don't know if we're going to get any cautions. That's one thing. And one of the reasons Terry Labonte really dominated this first race is because he had a car that was obviously fast even on the short run, and he had the track position. But he had long run speed, and the longer and longer into the run he got, the faster he was. We didn't get a caution until over 340 laps into the race. That was our only caution. That was because Michael Waltrip tried exiting pit road right in front of Terry Labonte, and he pulled up the racetrack thinking he was clear and basically turned himself off Labonte's front bumper. And Labonte's already pulling away from Stewart. No lap traffic to deal with so far. We'll be at lap 15 this time by. But if we get a lot of long green flag runs, or at least a very, very long green flag run, then this is Labonte's race to lose here tonight. A bit of a slide into turn one, though. Ward Burton already in fourth. We mentioned he had a top 5 yesterday at Darlington for the Southern 500. Solid race for him as he's starting to catch a hot streak late in the season. Don't count him out of a championship yet. I know it might be weird to say, Ward Burton only 5 career wins all the way through his NASCAR career, but he's 10th in the point standings with a reasonable shot in these final 11 races, and he's up to 4th already today. Ward Burton probably the underdog right now in the top 15 in points. Or at least the biggest underdog. I'm kind of pulling for him, honestly. Even if he just gets a top 5 run, that's an incredible season for that Bill Davis Racing Dodge. We're going to alternate through the different camera angles early in today's race, starting right now. Bonnie did a good job taking care of his car last night, but it wasn't a perfect job. And the reason was, and this actually ended up costing him a chance to win the race late, is that Terry Labonte had to short pit right about lap 150 at some point in between the second and third fuel run of the race because he had heavy damage on the right side of his car, and he still had about 15 to 20 laps to get to the end of the run. He honestly didn't think he was going to make it. There was heavy lap traffic around him, and the slightest hit could have knocked him out of the race then. He knew he had to get to the end of it, and he had a fast car. All he needed was one caution those final 250-plus laps to the end of the race, and just never got it. Unbelievable that race went over 250 laps green to the end after that second caution. Labonte just would have gotten the one yellow. He would have still had a good shot to win, but just never got it and ended up finishing 2 laps down because of it. With pitting that extra time. He was off strategy a lot because of it as well. Could just never gain enough time on those leaders. Mark Martin starting to close that gap again since he got to second place around Tony Stewart. Martin qualified second. But starting on that outside, he fell back a couple spots immediately. Yeah, NASCAR 2005. See, that's something, too, I thought about doing. We actually could start the NASCAR 05 playthrough next week, which I kind of want to do that and kind of do our Speed Weeks for that while Speed Weeks is happening. I think it would be great for the viewership as well. And then we could run our Daytona 500 for that on the Daytona 500. But with doing that, then the championship will actually be pushed back a week. But I think that's what I'm going to do. So we can honestly run our Budweiser shootout on Tuesday before the actual clash. If you guys are up for that, instead of just waiting completely to the end of Thunder 04, we could just do Speed Weeks next week, at least for 05. Watch the Pepsi 400 from 1989. Was it called the Pepsi 400 at that time, or was it the Firecracker 400 at that time?
Oh, John, you still there? Keep digging. Number 27 is right behind you. Okay.
First lap car going to be passed right there. Chase Montgomery. Took to lap 29. I'm quite surprised it took that long. It's actually quite a ways for a short track.
The 22 car is outside.
Contact. Labonte pushed up the track a little bit, getting into turn 1.
22 is still there.
Very minor contact with Kevin Grubb.
On both sides.
Grubb almost got back around him.
Smart side.
Well, Grubb did get back to his inside.
On your line. Still there. Still there.
Bonnie on the outside. Kevin Grubb's kind of holding him up a little bit.
The 22 car.
Boy.
The 4 car. Top out.
Bonnie just gets back down the racetrack in front of Grubb.
Looking right.
He almost got pinched into the wall off turn 4. Kevin kind of ran him way up the racetrack.
Right side.
Likely going to be a 3 pit stop race today.
Still there. They're all around.
Make it in 100 lap increments. Probably going to see me short pit. Depending on what the damage looks like, of course. But Labonte's got just as fast of a car as what he did earlier this season. That would be insane between both races to go 800 laps at Richmond and lead all 800 of them. I did not think of any track on this game. This would be my best track this season. I can't remember if we won here in Season 1 or not, but, I mean, we have just absolutely obliterated the field here in Season 2. It's what Labonte came in to do. He's still got 3 racetracks in the next 3 races that he can very well win at. He was very fast at New Hampshire and Dover earlier this year, and he did win Talladega as well. And then Martinsville a couple races after that. He won at Martinsville this season. That's why I'm saying you can't count us out yet. We are going to need a little help. We definitely didn't have help last night, unfortunately. And everything just went against us at the end of that race. It's just been the second half of the season. I wouldn't even say it's been the whole season. It's just been the second half of the year that Labonte struggled. But that's why you got to put a full season together with this points format. It's not like now where, you know, we can win like the 6th race of the year like we did here. That was our first win. And we're automatically going to have a shot in the last 10 races. I'm kind of excited to run the chase format in NASCAR 05. It's been a while. I'm really excited for that. I'm probably more excited for that game than what I was for this one, just simply because that was the game I played. That was my childhood, was NASCAR 05, Madden 06, and MLB The Show 2005. That was like my childhood. Those were like the 3 games I played the most. In that specific order. And then obviously being a NASCAR fan, I was constantly getting NASCAR. NASCAR and Madden were like the 2 games I got every year for the most part. Except for, with NASCAR, for some reason, I just never played 08 or 09. I never got those games, so those will be kind of interesting to see how those go, because I've never played them before.
The 30 car coming up quick. You're clear.
I still watched NASCAR at that time. I just didn't have the video game. It was probably because I was playing 05 and 07 so much. I was just in love with those 2 games that I just didn't care for buying the next couple. I never played any of the Technics games up until NASCAR Heat Evolution. I was pretty much just playing 05 and 07, like, all those years. So I should be pretty good out of the gate in those 2. I mean, it has been a good 5 years at least since I played it, but mainly because I don't know where I had the game. I guess it's been more like 6 years because it was before Heat Evolution came out, so... Because I had my PSP for the longest time, and NASCAR 07 was kind of the game with that. I already bought NASCAR 05. See, that's the thing. I was going to buy it here in a couple days. So as long as it gets shipped to the house, you know, by Tuesday when I get home from work, then we'll have it fired up and ready to go. I'd like to hopefully get it before that, but we're in the midst of a super, super heavy snowstorm. Well, it stopped snowing today. It literally snowed for like 3 straight days. From like Sunday night into Monday morning, all the way through Monday, all the way through Tuesday. And we got a lot of snow. I don't know the exact measurements. I know we were supposed to get like 5 to 8 inches, and it's probably like that 6 to 8 range, honestly. Just an overall accumulation, at least. And then next weekend, we're supposed to have... I was looking at it next weekend, where I live. We're supposed to have like our coldest temperatures on top of like all the snow we got last weekend. Now we're supposed to have the coldest temperatures of the year, or like of the winter season so far. I think Monday's supposed to be a high of 6 degrees. And then an overnight low of -2. The wind chills are supposed to be like -20 roughly. I think it was 2... Yeah, it was 2 years ago. It was... I think right when I got back from Atlanta, because it was like late February. I got back from Atlanta Motor Speedway. And not the first day I came back, but the second 2 days I came back. I went from like 60 degree like t-shirt and shorts or t-shirt and pants weather, like in Atlanta for like 4 or 5 days, and then I came back and we had like temperatures below 0 for highs 2 days in a row. It was a drastic difference. I didn't bring the warm weather back with me that week. Yeah, I had an MX versus ATV game. I can't remember which one it was. It was for my PSP. I remember that. I didn't play it that much, though, but I remember having it for a short time. Oh, Kenny Wallace got the wall, I believe, off turn 4. That was strange. I don't think we're going to get a Phantom Yellow at this racetrack. We actually didn't get one at Bristol, because we had a big crash. 2 of them, really, throughout the entire race. But the first one was Ryan Newman running out of gas on the racetrack and just got piled in from behind. And then, obviously, we tried to retaliate on Michael Walsh. Everybody highly regretted that as soon as it happened, because we just, for some reason, got hooked on him after we turned him, and we went up the track too, right in front of the rest of the leaders that we were battling with at the time. Dale Jarrett, Rusty Wallace. Really bad accident. Motocross on at 11 tonight.
The 10 car is outside. Number 10 is passing high. You're clear.
Terry Labonte off to an already dominating start, over 50 laps green to the start of today's race. And he's got about a 7-second lead back to Mark Martin. Very, very clean race for him so far. He hasn't hit the wall yet. It's pretty impressive for a short track. And for this game, of course. And not only that, but he's passing cars clean for the most part, too. I think he's only made contact once with Stewart and then once with the lap car of Kevin Grubb. Very minimal, and that's been it. It's been a clean race so far for Terry Labonte. He's being extra patient around the lap cars right now. If we get a caution, he's got faith that as long as he keeps his track position at the front of the field, he's going to have a fast race car.
Still there. Number 38 is coming up quick.
He might not lead every lap if that happened, but he should lead the most. And as long as he keeps his car clean, he'll have a shot to win it come race end. 3 wide on entry there. Bonnie just kind of gave it up in the middle of the corner. He had Jeremy Mayfield and Jeff Green to his outside.
You're clear. Outside.
I just can't wait for the end of this race. I got a good feeling that Labonte's going to be able to
Still beside you. Make it easy.
pull this one off. He's trying to do exactly what he did earlier this year at Richmond. And just end this streak of bad luck. That's still only 2 wins for us in 13 races, but, I mean, and only 4 top 10s in that stretch, too, but you gotta, end the cold streak at some point. Labonte looking to do it tonight.
They're on both sides.
He couldn't wait for the end of the season. He kind of figured the middle portion of the year was going to be the toughest. Those longer tracks, though he actually performed somewhat well at, but he was really good on the short tracks earlier this season. Now, one of the problems Labonte's going to have tonight is trying to get around Michael Waltrip. For obvious reasons. Waltrip actually put Labonte in the wall late, maybe cost him a couple more spots at the end of that race. Labonte could have maybe had an 18th place finish if it wasn't for Waltrip doing that right before he had to come to pit road that extra time. With less than 20 to go, might I add. So Labonte's probably going to be patient.
It's going to make it hard for you to get around him.
Oh, no, he's got a huge run off turn 4. He's going for it now.
Keep him behind you if you can.
Slides the tires a little bit into turn 1, but he clears Michael Waltrip. Nice clean pass. Harvick's going to get underneath Waltrip off turn 2 now, so that's going to occupy Michael for the time being. There's some heavy lap traffic not too much further ahead of Terry Labonte, but Terry got around his arch nemesis there pretty quickly. 12-second lead over Mark Martin. Ward Burton up to 3rd. Jeff Gordon into the top 5. He's back in 5th, and Stewart is in 4th. No sign of the points leader, Dale Jr., right now. Not in the top 5, at least, and we haven't put him a lap down that I know of, unless he's out of the race. That'd be something. That'd really be beneficial for Labonte. 3 wide. I think Rudd was just going to let him go, and then he ended up getting stuck in the middle anyway in the center of the corner. Kevin LePage all the way on the outside at the moment. Jerry gets a little loose into turns 3 and 4.
Keep him behind you if you can.
Bonnie drives it in deep. It almost feels like this car's sticking a lot better, honestly, in this race than what it did earlier this season at Richmond. I mean, even in practice, we were 2nd in practice. Kurt Busch was fastest then. I don't know how, but he was. And then qualifying, we qualified on the pole, obviously, and then happy hour, we were way quicker than everybody else.
All clear, guys. Far out.
Don't forget, though, if we do end up
40 car is still there.
starting NASCAR 05 next week, you guys get to pick the driver for not one, not two, but all 3 series. And we might even do a season of the modified series, so I guess you guys can pick a driver there, too. I don't plan on doing the modifieds every single, game, but I figured why not? 05 is the first game they were incepted into the game, and yeah, why not? Do something a little different there. So, you guys get to pick the drivers. And I'm probably not going to do a custom schedule the first go-around because I want to unlock some of the fantasy tracks and race there as well. Big run to the inside for Terry Labonte. 3 wide on Jeff Burtondale Jr., so there is Jr. on the racetrack. At least he hasn't led a lap. That's one thing, too. Terry wants to try to stay out of the pits as long as he can. 3 wide into turn 3. Contact with Bill Elliott. So if Labonte short pits, there's going to be a good chance that somebody else is going to lead a lap, and he doesn't care who it is. It could be 40th place in points leading a lap. Terry doesn't want anybody to lead a lap today if he can help it. Especially with a lot of championship contenders in the top 5. We mentioned Mark Martin's 3rd in points. Tony Stewart's 9th in points, but he's also ahead of Terry Labonte, so Labonte is also racing Stewart. Ward Burton, 10th in points, he's 3rd. Junior's in the top 10. We got a blown engine on the inside of the track as we go into turns 1 and 2, and it's Mike Skinner. So Skinner will be the first driver to exit tonight's race, unfortunately for him. Non-factor as far as the race win and the championship goes. Yeah, 12 days to the Daytona 500. I'm just excited to see cars on the track next Tuesday night. We're only 7 days away from the Busch Clash. Well, less than 7 technically, because it would have started already this time next week. Skinner is able to limp his car to pit road, so we do stay green. Bonnie with a big run underneath Jeff Gordon. 3 wide into turn 1. Bonnie slides it in there. A little contact. Gordon's trying to battle Ward Burton for position as well. Finally going to make some passes on both Ward Burton and Jeff Gordon. That actually costed Gordon a chance to get around Burton for 4th. Tony Stewart's up to 3rd. Getting close to leading the lap earlier. Remember, he got to the inside of Terry Labonte in the first 7 laps of the race. And just pushed tight into Labonte off 4, and that actually hurt Stewart more than it helped him or hurt Labonte. 20-second lead. Stewart drove it in deep into turns 1 and 2. He's on the back bumper of Martin now. A little contact from behind. And how Martin trying to move Joe Nemechek out of the way. Knowing Stewart's behind him and so is Labonte, and Terry Labonte has lapped the field in the first 77 laps of the race. He had a massive win by, 4 laps earlier this season he won by. And Labonte just obliterated the field in that race, and expected more of the same here tonight if we get a long green flag run. A ridiculously long. This was a long one to start the race, but knowing we had a 300-plus lap green flag run to start the last race at Richmond, let's see. It's just night and day. I mean, look at how, much we struggle on NASCAR Heat 4 and NASCAR Heat 5 at Richmond, and here, for some reason, on NASCAR Thunder 2004, we just dominate.
Number 27, top 5. The 27 cars, all over your back bumper.
It's going to be a good chance. See, that's the difference, too. We've been a little bit less consistent up to this point, and we've had less wins than what we had season 1. We got to finish better than 9th in points, you would think. Especially if this bad luck ends soon. We still have 10 races left after this. Very easily we can click off some good runs and easily at least get back to the top 5. If we're going to win the championship, like I said, we're going to need help. But you never know what could happen with this game or just simply on any given race. But he slid the tires getting into turns 1 and 2. He does pass Elliott Sadler, though. 7 people watching right now. Thanks for everybody tuning in here tonight. A blowout in the early going of the Chevy Rock and Roll 400 at Richmond. We're almost a quarter of the way home in this 400 lap race around this 3/4 mile short track. Subscribe if you haven't already. We do daily NASCAR content. These full race live streams are a huge part of it, but we're going to be rebranding the channel here. Have a lot of new stuff coming up for, I guess, like every night or every day of the week. As far as, you know, when I'll have like a regular schedule of like uploads, you know, like actual video uploads. I'll do everything in my power to, and then some, to get those out when they can. Obviously excluding when I'm traveling to, you know, whatever racetrack I'm going to when the season starts, of course. I'm not going to be going to a race until at least Bristol Dirt, so the first 6 or 7 races of the year I'll be home. We'll have that regular schedule, but yeah, I mean, once I go, I'll probably be going to a race like every 3 to 4 weeks, so it'll be a lot of fun. Gonna have a good year of the channel. Definitely excited. Ooh, McMurray almost got in the wall.
42 car is outside.
Off turn 2. Bonnie really gets a good drive off the corner when the car downshifts. Again, we got that automatic transmission. I know you guys want to see it. I want to see it too. Can we come back from 15th in the point standings to win the championship in the final 11 races? That would be insane. I mean, what a comeback performance that would be for Terry Labonte. Just think if we had the chase, if this was NASCAR 05, we probably would have missed the chase. Because this would be the last race. I think mathematically we'd have a shot to get in the top 10. And honestly, running as good as we are, we might actually have a shot to get back to 10th in points. But if we don't get back to 10th in points tonight, thank goodness there's no playoff or chase system. Well, then again, if it was a playoff system, we'd, like that we're used to now, we would have already won our way in. But as far as like consistency, the first 26 races go to be in the top 10. Yeah, that's tough. Bonnie is coming up on Michael Waltrip pretty soon once again. Hopefully he can get around him as quickly as he did last time. Again, it's a 1-lap lead on the field. It's averaged out for some reason as we've come to see this season. And actually, Waltrip's at minus 58, so he's not going to try to spin it. Oh, boy. Got crowded a little bit there. Labonte almost got into him, but Waltrip not mad enough to take a swing anymore. The more and more times Labonte's able to pass him clean, that's only going to help the rival indicator go down more and more.
I'd like to see him stay back there.
We'll probably get payback on him and Marlin eventually, but we definitely don't need it right here, right now. Next full race live stream on the channel will be tomorrow night at New Hampshire right here on the channel and on NASCAR Thunder 2004. Start time for that one's going to be same as tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Oh boy. 3 got a little tight into turn 3. Ooh, contact. His brother Bobby Labonte coming off that win yesterday at Darlington. Marlin tried to chop down right in front of Terry.
99, top 5.
Even the straightaway speed, which on a short track you usually don't have straightaway speed, but it is relevant the longer and longer this run goes for Terry Labonte.
Smart house. Clear on both sides. Number 17 is going to make it hard for you to get around him. Right
Oh, I
side.
forgot Kenseth's arrival too. He's at minus 66.
Number 21 is all over you back bumper.
So Labonte's going to have to try to do this as quickly as he can down the front stretch.
Car, top 5.
You let him by. He's gonna
Oh, he slides into turn one.
be careful.
Well, he cleared Kenseth and he cleared him cleanly.
All clear, buddy.
Hot pursuit there was Matt Kenseth, and Labonte was trying to stay in front of him as best as he could.
Car looks
Now Labonte washes up the track into his teammate Kurt Busch. Not Labonte's teammate, but Kenseth's teammate.
smart house.
And these tires are getting really, really old
Beside you, 8 days.
at this point in the run.
Number
Almost
9,
100 laps on them. 3/4 of the way through the tank, so about a quarter of fuel left in the tank.
Number 45.
6 gallons maybe.
Okay, we're clear.
Maybe a little less, about 5.5 gallons.
Got one eye.
Yeah, probably about 5.5 gallons. 22-gallon tank, yeah, that would be the math.
Smart house.
So green flag run, as far as the fuel goes, is probably going to go anywhere between 115 to 125 laps for the majority of the field.
Okay, we're clear. The 8 car is outside.
Let's do Wallace for the block.
Clear all around.
That was big right there, putting the points leader Dale Jr. 2 laps down.
Right side. Clear. Got one eye.
Jr.'s not that far outside the top 5.
All clear, buddy.
Ward Burton's in 5th. Sorry, Rusty Wallace is in 5th, so. Jeff Gordon's actually driven his way up to 2nd place.
Clear.
Mark Martin's not in the top 5 anymore. I wonder if he's still on the racetrack. Martin might be done for the day. I didn't see him exit the race. That would be huge for Dale Jr. That'd be the 2nd race in a row we would see somebody in the top 3 in points
Is coming right.
go down with an engine failure. Gordon last night, he fell back to 4th in points, and then Mark Martin, who came into this race just over 100 points back, in 3rd, was in 2nd for the longest time, and I don't even see him. I mean, if he's not in the top 5, we'll contact the Hendrick teammates there.
24 car, top 5.
Oh, Labonte's got 2 laps on the field now into turn 1 at lap 104. Took him 77 laps to put the field 1 lap down. Tells you how fast he is on the longer run, the longer and longer we go, because it took him just over 25 laps to get around him again. Insanely fast.
Okay, we're clear.
Well, this is one of those races to have a good Q&A. I mean, just ask questions down in the chat. I'll answer them. We need to fill this gap at some point in time if we don't get any cautions. We had 2 caution-free races so far this season. We had 2 in Season 1. The 2nd Michigan race and then the Daytona 500 in Season 1. The 2 caution-free races this season was California and Chicagoland. Very rarely we've seen Labonte get that loose today. But definitely saw it again right there. Ooh, ooh, man. McMurray did not go up the racetrack like Labonte was planning on him doing. McMurray just kind of stayed right in the middle lane Even down the back straightaway. Another blown engine on the inside. Ricky Rudd is going to retire from the race. Tough break for Rudd. Tristan Games, welcome to the stream.
You know one car is outside. Still there.
Yep.
Number 01.
February 14th, Daytona 500. We'll be seeing cars, Cup cars on the track competitively in a race next Tuesday in the Clash. It's weird. It's like it's only Speed Week instead of Speed Weeks this year, but then you got another week at Daytona after that anyway, so maybe it is Speed Week still. When you got the Daytona Road Course the following Sunday after the 500. I noticed that race is a little bit longer this year too. The Busch Clash I saw is 35 laps on the Daytona Road Course, but then the points race there is 65 laps. If I remember correctly, last season's road course race at Daytona was 55 laps, if I remember right. So this year's race is going to be 10 laps longer, the points race at least.
Let's get a new left rear tire. Pit road's getting busy. Leaders are headed in.
Hold your line. You're still there. They're on both sides.
This might be the best run Terry Labonte's ever put together,
One car is right behind you.
even this season. Even the first time we were here at Richmond.
And now are you going to be out of gas?
I mean, he's already 2 laps ahead of the field. We haven't even hit that first pit stop yet. We're very close. Some drivers have pitted within the last couple laps already. Kind of figured that window was going to open up right about lap 115. So I guess I called it. You'll probably see guys go about another 10 laps before the last set of drivers hit pit lane. Terry Labonte's definitely going to try to stretch his fuel run out as far as he can. Definitely going to have to watch some of the cars coming off the... or out of the pits and on the inside down the backstretch. Remember, that's how Waltrip turned himself in the first Richmond race. That was the only caution.
They're all around.
We got some cars headed down pit road.
Somebody bottomed out up here. Ricky Craven. Oh, man, Johnson checked up.
Contact.
Craven got loose in the center of the corner again as well.
They're on both sides.
Johnson checked up. Craven got loose. Craven was coming out of the pits. Now Craven just kind of door checks Labonte to get to the middle instead. And now they're 4 wide. I didn't think we were going to see 4 wide at Richmond. Oh, man, Biffle up into Labonte in an awkward spot. Almost turned himself like Waltrip did. They were 4 wide at first. Then Biffle got tight a little bit there, getting into turn 3 at that awkward angle.
Easy now. Gonna need some of that grip later.
Just under 2 gallons of fuel left. Labonte can actually go quite a bit further yet. Hey, if we get a caution, that's just the more and more drivers trapped. More and more drivers trapped, more and more laps down. Everything cycles through, they'll obviously gain a little bit of time. Terry Labonte, maybe they'll get the 1 lap down instead of 2. Everything cycles through. Bonnie should be able to take it even past lap 125. Dale Jr.'s going to be coming up behind him. Dale Jr.'s already hit pit road, so he's got a little bit fresher tires. Man, they're checking up again. Going into the corner. Kyle Petty on the inside of the racetrack. Oh, a lot of guys checking up. Tony Stewart was coming to pit road. That would be why that time. Lap 125 now. So we're checking up for Stewart. Now Labonte slides the tires into the corner. Junior just gasses it up and gets right around Labonte. Still got just less than a gallon of fuel left. Push it a couple more laps.
The 16 car is outside.
Loose into turn one for the second lap in a row. Not as bad that time compared to the lap before. He's also going to have to make sure he's on the inside lane going into turn three when he gets there. He's going to go at least one more lap here. Gets around Biffle off turn two. There's him with a nice clean pass. Biffle charging up the outside again, though. Bonnie to the inside of Kevin LePage now into turn one. Bonnie going to go one more lap. Be lap 129 when Labonte comes to pit road. Ooh, Craven almost got into the back of him. Labonte got tight again on these older tires, washed up right in front of Craven. So Labonte coming to pit road as we speak here at lap 129. No adjustments, 4 fresh tires, and a full tank of fuel for Terry Labonte and his crew. What a beautiful start to the race for Terry Labonte. Fast stop, no mistakes for Terry Labonte and his crew. Oh man, he got loose trying to get up to speed. Really loose trying to get up to speed on the apron of the track there. That was really strange. Bobby Gordon ran into the back of him. So he had nowhere to go. It's hard to tell if the field's 2 laps down or 1 because again it averages out. Dale Jr. is actually up to second right now, but Bonnie's led every lap so far today. I'm sure he'd like to keep it that way. It's going to be tough for these guys to come back unless we start getting more and more cautions. Kenny Schrader really blocking Terry Labonte. Ryan Newman's up into 5th. Oh, Mark Martin's in 3rd, so he's still in the race. I don't know where he disappeared to. Was in 2nd, and then he just wasn't. His Sure must have had a fast stop. Maybe they were just fading at the very end of the run.
No one outside. 3 wide.
Oh boy. There was almost some contact there with Sprague, Labonte,
Hold that line.
Chase Montgomery. 3 wide as they merged off of
To get by you.
the corner. A little contact there.
Still beside you. Keep digging.
Lonnie got tight again. That time he did make contact with
All clear, buddy.
Sprague. They weren't 3 wide that time, but they were side by side. Lonnie overdrove the corner into turn 3 a little bit. Flatlined it. Easy to do with this game and this analog stick. Somebody else just blew an engine and is on pit road. I don't believe it's a scheduled stop. I'm not sure who it was. I don't think anybody could have made it this far on fuel. I'd be shocked. Even if it was a lap car. 138 laps.
The 41 car is right behind you. Clear on both sides.
No, there's no way that happened. 2311's only, unless they expanded to the Xfinity series. I don't know. I don't think they did. I didn't hear anything about that, Tim. Has she even announced what or where she signed? Or is it still to be announced? I mean, the Daytona 500 is next week. Or not next week. Yeah, next week.
You still there?
Not this weekend, but the following week. She's not running the Daytona 500, but
Number 9 is attempting to block.
running the Saturday before. Is that a different Tim Irvin in the Tim, is that still you? Is that the same Tim Irvin? With a different profile
The 19 car is outside.
picture?
Number 19 is still there. Still beside you. The 19 car is
Am I just looking at it differently? I don't know why it looks different.
The 9 car is throwing a block on you.
Oh, it's been like mimicking Terry Labonte's line. Change picture. Yeah, I didn't know if it was somebody else like trying to fake account or something. We've had that before, so. Davey Allison, gotcha. Yeah, I couldn't tell exactly what it was from my laptop unless I like had to like click on it, but obviously can't do that right now. Davey Allison though, throwing it back.
No one outside.
Gotta keep him behind you.
Clear all around.
Almost a lap 150. Boy, this is going to be a long race today with Labonte's just flat out dominating, but yeah, walk in the park might be the relaxation Terry Labonte needs. He's really hoping Dale Jr. falls back in the running order. That's the problem. Jr.'s in second.
Number 10 is outside. You're clear. beside you. Careful. Number 10. He's gaining on you.
No one wants to fake being
All
me.
around. Got one eye. You're clear.
Guess now would be a good time to alternate through the different camera angles once again in today's race.
Swap out.
150 laps complete
Go beside you.
at Richmond.
Okay, we're clear. Number 25, top eye. The 25 car is still there. All clear, buddy. Got one eye.
Bonnie to the inside of Jeff Green into turn 1.
The one car
He got a
is
little
still there.
loose.
Number 1 is passing high. Clear.
I don't even know what the, I can't remember who's all in the truck in the Busch series exactly, as far as like the regulars in NASCAR 05. I can probably name a couple guys off the top of my head who I think that were in it, like as like Cup Series regulars, but like I don't know if they were in the game or not. But yeah, you guys get to fan vote that. Now that we're only a week away, we're gonna have to start thinking pretty aggressively about it.
The 30 car
Don't need an answer now, obviously, but
still beside you.
Tuesday before the Clash, I guess, is what we're shooting for the Budweiser shootout. If I can't get the game before then we'll just do it the Thursday before the duel. We'll just run the shootout. So at some point next week, either Tuesday or Thursday, I'll end up having the game. Contact
Number 16, up high.
further out ahead. The lap cars might have gotten together getting into turn 3. I like how that icon to like share draft like always pops up. Like, yeah, I want to try to draft somebody on a short track, on a flat short track like Richmond. There, I did it. For a whole, probably not even a second.
Got one eye. Okay, we're clear.
Bonnie hard into turn 1. Gets around Vittipaldi. Bonnie was 3 wide there for a second. It's getting a little loose, so he was just going to let both the Sadlers of Elliott and Hermie go.
Right side. You're clear.
Locking the brakes up into turn 1. Just got some Chipotle. I am not a fan of Chipotle, honestly. I'm not a big fan of onions, and every single time, like whether somebody watches them make it, I always get like big chunks of onion in my burrito or taco, whatever I end up getting there. I get, the stuff gets slopped around and stuff, but like, how is it that I have like a handful, or not a handful, but like I find like at least like 5 or 6 big chunks in it. It just doesn't appetize me enough.
Both sides.
That's my dislike for Chipotle. My small rant. But it happens to me like every time. Like all 3 times I've eaten it. I was like, nope, that's it. I'm drawing the line. It was bad enough to where I didn't even finish my burrito the last time I got there. Last time I had it, just because there were so many in there, I was like, this is not right. I'm not eating this. I gave it not 1, not 2, but 3 chances. Done. So now, like, whenever, like a couple nights ago, my parents, like, picked up Chipotle, and I told them I didn't want anything. I was just going to fend out of the fridge if I needed to. I think I actually went to B-Dubs that night, Buffalo Wild Wings anyway, so I wasn't even at home, but still. There's Michael Waltrip. Remember, he's not mad enough to take a swing anymore, at least. So Labonte should be able to get around him cleanly without Waltrip taking a swing at him, and he does. He's going to keep going down -2 every time he passes him. So it should be down to about -54 now. And Matt Kenseth, on the other hand, is still mad at Terry Labonte, so we'll see what Kenseth might have in store here. Labonte going to try to fake high on entry into turn 3. Now dives to the bottom. Trying to clear Matt Kenseth, and it looks like he will. There's his brother Bobby Labonte as well. Terry continues to keep the car clean, but we still have just over half the race to go. Can't get too comfortable. I wonder if it's going to be like this with every EA game with us at Richmond. I don't know if it's just we hit the setup right the first race and I ran the same exact setup again this time and it's working the same way. I don't know if it was just the luck of me doing that or if the EA games it's easier to race at Richmond. I honestly can't remember. I always remembered having a hard time at Dover and Charlotte. Dover, Charlotte, and Pocono on the EA games for some reason. Like, those were the 3 tracks that I just could not, for the life of me, like, get the hang of. It took me a while to get the hang of Daytona and Talladega, too. Probably because I was too young, I didn't know what the share draft was, and then once I figured out, oh, okay, I can do that and just sit behind, oh, this is easy. But I was always, like, wondering why I would lose the draft. Honestly, with Labonte having this big of a lead and being this much faster than everybody, this might be the race to get the payback of both Waltrip and Marlin, but Labonte's not going to do it anywhere in the middle of the race. He's going to wait till the end if he gets an opportunity. And even then, it's going to depend on how much damage his car's got, because he doesn't want to throw his race away in the process of it, like at Bristol. He only make that mistake once. Ooh! Trying to gas it up in the center of the corner, and Ashton Lewis did not take off like he had planned on him doing. I believe the only 2 drivers still out of the race with the engine failures, I don't believe anybody else has blown up since, is Mike Skinner and Ricky Rudd. Now, we tend to miss a couple for some reason, though. Bonnie's really hoping Dale Jr. blows an engine. This would be the most opportune race for that to happen. Simply because nobody's going to get any sort of bonus points except for Terry Labonte, and Terry would have a max points day. Like, this is the race, if any, for Dale Jr. to DNF. He's going to have to DNF probably twice for us to really get back into it. Him and Gordon. Gordon's already done it once, so now we need Junior to do it twice. But this would be one of those races to definitely have it. I feel like another racetrack would have to be a mile and a half, because we haven't done well in a mile and a half this season. We still got 3 of them left on the schedule. No, 2 of them. Texas isn't in the final 10. We only raced there once. So, Lowe's Motor Speedway in Atlanta, I believe, are the only 2 mile and a halves left. Oh, Kansas. Yeah, I was right. We have 3. I forgot about Kansas. Yeah, so there's 3 of them in the last, 6 races. Hopefully we got a shot at the title still. We should have a shot at it, mathematically at least, but I mean, we have to go into that last race within 50 points of the lead to legitimately have a shot without just hoping that they blow an engine, basically. Just in case I don't win at Homestead. I want to have to beat them by 20 positions. Oh, McMurray tried to block, then leaves it open in 3 and 4, so Labonte will get around him there. Almost halfway home. Labonte's led every lap of this race, so as soon as he gets to lap 201, he's going to clinch the most laps led. He's not going to have to pit before that. I guess we could get a caution and something crazy could happen, but looks like he should lock up the 10 bonus points pretty quickly here. Staying out past 11 to watch Supercross. Gotta work. Hey, I mean, that's what I do if I ever have to work in a NASCAR race, either runs late or the Packers game's on. You know, one of those 2 things, I stay up. It doesn't matter. Even if I only go in on 4 hours of sleep. I went to this has happened twice. I went to 2 Tigers games middle of the week in 2019 because they were last in the league basically the whole season. So tickets were dirt cheap on StubHub. I would get tickets for $10, $20, and I'd be sitting behind home plate within the first 20 rows for nothing more than $25 the whole season. So I was going during the week a couple times. I would take a half day at work and go to the game. I would schedule a half day, and go to the game so I could leave early, or I'd go that night knowing I had to get up pretty much 3 to 4 hours after I got home. That was before the YouTube channel, so that's how I went to I think I went to 11 games if I remember right, 11 or 12 games I went to that whole season, all at home. It was actually pretty cool, going up there twice a month. Unfortunately, I couldn't go to any last year because of COVID. Michigan's pretty strict with their policies from what I've seen as well. I think they just opened bars up a couple days ago. I didn't even realize they were closed the whole time in Michigan. I mean, they sell food, but it's carry out only. But I guess they just opened it up, limited capacity, very limited. So I've been kind of used to Ohio. It's kind of been opened up since about middle of the summer, about July, August. Man, Michigan. I think Michigan opened it, but then they closed it back up again a few months ago. I believe. If anybody who lives in Michigan, down in the chat, let me know. Try to get to the bottom of the COVID situation there and what's open and what isn't. I mean, that's the thing. Every state's so different. That was one thing with. Obviously, I couldn't go to as many races as I hoped for NASCAR-wise last year, but I still went to 3. And it was just kind of weird. I had to read up on stuff okay, what's open in this state? What isn't? Whatever. What are the policies? Is there a curfew? Because I wouldn't have known otherwise. Last thing I want to do is get pulled over for being out past 10 o'clock at night or something. Oh, Sadler! Didn't keep it up the racetrack. Pinched off the race leader just a little bit. Minor contact, of course. Here's second place driver Dale Earnhardt Jr. about to go 3 laps down, and Jr. tried to go in the middle between Labonte and Elliott, and there just wasn't enough room. Josephina Bravo, welcome to the stream. Ray Howard, welcome.
Onside. You're clear. Someone outside.
Gas tank is at half.
Hold your line. You still there? Clear.
Well, halfway through the fuel run again. 2 pit stops to the end of the race still for everybody on the racetrack. They've only had 1 up to this point in the first half, but
Onside.
they will not make it on 1 more stop. There's no way these guys are going to make it to that 115 to 130 lap to go mark before they have to pit again. Especially already halfway out of gas in this run. But if they make it the full run, they might even be able to just split the last couple runs in like 70 lap increments. They won't have to go too far if they don't want to.
Still there.
Really going to open up the strategy in the second half of the race for everybody else battling for positions. But right now, Terry Labonte looking to go back to victory lane for, again, just the second time in a 13-race stretch. And trying to lead all 400 laps at Richmond for the second time this season. And this would only be the second time ever that I've led every lap in a full race on NASCAR Thunder 04. The only other time I did it in a cup race in general, not just on this game, was at Sonoma on NASCAR Heat 5 with that final season just a couple months ago. You guys remember that race? We led every lap with Ryan Blaney. That was a lot closer battle throughout the whole race, so I'm surprised we were able to do it. But I was surprised we were able to do it just with this game in general as well. But
The 31 car is passing
Awesome.
by. They're all around.
11 Eastern, 1 Pacific. Are you wondering about the Daytona 500 start time? I think it's supposed to be at like 2 Eastern. I don't know when, like, I don't know if it's at 2 or 3 this year. It's one or the other, though. The only race that starts at 1 o'clock this year is Indianapolis Road Course, if I remember right. Every other race starts at 2, 2:30, or 3 o'clock the rest of the season. Even some at 3:30, some of the shorter races. Off the top of my head, I can't remember. I want to say it's like 2:30 or 3 o'clock for the 500. I think that would probably be my guesstimate range.
Number 20 is outside.
Just over halfway. Terry Labonte has clinched the most laps led because he's led every lap so far. So that will be a 10 bonus point day for Terry Labonte. Gonna get underneath Waltrip. Pass him clean once again. He'll get his payback on Michael and Sterling Marlin at some point. If not today, before the end of the season for sure. Maybe if we fall out of championship contention, that'd be a great race to do it. Just our season's already done. Just send it in like at Homestead or something. Just get them all back at once. If we're mathematically eliminated.
Okay, we're clear. The 99 car is up high. They're all around. All high. Okay, we're clear.
Really sideways into turn 1.
Number 18, up high. Hold your line.
Kenseth might try to take a swing at Labonte if he gets a chance. Terry's going to be a little bit more patient. Didn't want to get under him there. Barely kept it off Kenny Wallace. Off turn 4, though, Labonte's going to get underneath Kenseth. Trying to get to the inside, and Rusty Wallace is there. Contact with Rusty Wallace after Wallace pinched him into turn 1. Both drivers somewhat save it, I guess. Matt Kenseth's right there as well. Bonnie's still trying to look out for Kenseth. I don't know what Rusty Wallace was thinking there. I don't think he was thinking at all. He was trying to block him, but he's already got a few lap lead. I mean, what's the difference at this point? Second half of the race. Wallace did ricochet into the outside wall in turns 1 and 2 with that. That was a very bad block. I mean, Labonte was completely sideways. I'm surprised he didn't spin out. Would have been the first caution of the day. Surprised Kenseth didn't try to just finish him off right there either. Definitely not what Terry Labonte was hoping for, that's for sure. It's probably the most significant contact he's made all day. I want to add, we've gone over 200 laps at Richmond. We have not hit the wall once. And I don't really, I mean, we came close maybe once. I mean, this car's just been gripping the bottom of the track for most of the day, outside of when Wallace tried to block. And now Harvick's trying to block as well. Up and down the racetrack. I don't know what these guys are thinking right now. I mean, they're thinking they don't want to go another lap down, but at what cost? Newman and Schrader's car both bottomed out there. That was interesting. He gets to the inside, gets right around Ryan Newman. We got a 3-lap lead on the field there, Tim. It averages out. I don't think we passed them a 4th time. I think they're, yeah, they're 3 laps down. I don't think we got around Junior next. Well, no, wait a minute. No, we just passed Junior a few laps ago. Yeah, they are 4 laps down. Never mind. Well, not a few laps ago, but you get, I mean, it was within the last 10 to 20 laps. I don't think they've fallen a half a lap down in that amount of time. Not at this racetrack.
38 car is still there. Number 38 is looking right.
I don't think at any racetrack, really. Now I'm thinking about it. I like to think, oh boy. Hang on. Bonnie gets loose again there. More Burt and Jeff Gordon up here. Yeah, they're in 4th and 5th, so Labonte's got a 3-lap lead on the field then. Should be. We'll see at the start-finish line this time how far it's going to have Gordon and Lloyd Burton back. Because if there's still 4 laps, yeah. So Labonte's got a 3-lap lead on the field, and then 4 laps from 4th on back. Again, Lloyd Burton might go back-to-back top 5s. I think that would be 3 in a 5-race stretch, if I'm not mistaken. Was it Bristol he finished top 5 as well? I don't think it was Bristol. There was a race that we DNF'd, he finished in the top 5. Definitely wasn't Watkins Glen. It must have been Michigan. Yeah, it was probably Michigan. Ward Burton's got a chance to make 3 top 5s in a 5-race stretch. That would be... Oh, not quite the very end of the year yet. We're still not in the final quarter until we get to that 9 race to go mark. Labonte's just putting a shellacking on the field today. There's Dale Jr. Going to go 4 laps down, but he's still in second. That's the thing. It doesn't matter how many laps down he is. If he finishes second, he finishes second. And Labonte's only going to gain 15 points on him. If Jr. doesn't lead a lap, Terry's already clinched the most laps led. Obviously, assuming Terry Labonte wins still. So he needs something to happen to Jr., even if he doesn't DNF. Maybe a speeding penalty or something just to put him back outside the top 10. Michael Waltrip again. Labonte, it's scummy, but we do need to get payback on Waltrip and Marlin at some point by the end of the season. Wait for Dale Jr. to hit pit road and then just bring out the caution there and trap him more laps down than the guys he's racing around. But that would only gain us a couple spots in this race because a lot of the field is multiple laps down anyway. Well, the whole field's multiple laps down anyway, so it'd only gain us a couple spots a day. But maybe at like Talladega or something if we were on there. Oh, that'd be insane. Or like Waltrip's leading at Talladega or something, just take him out and Junior just happens to get wiped out in the big one too. There's some scummy ways to get back into the championship without actually intentionally wrecking the championship leaders. Wrecking the guys we need to get payback on by the end of the year because they've ended either ended one or more races that we were leading in or running well earlier in the season, especially Marlin. Well, Marlin DNF'd us twice this year. And then the other time we DNF'd a third time. We were trying to get retaliation on him, and then the car downshifted to first gear, and I blew an engine. It was just in first gear. I was just cranking the RPMs. So Dale Jarrett in the pits. Our first driver's pitting for the second time here tonight. Deep to get around Jeff Burton. A lot more cars coming to pit road this time by lap 228. I think they're short pin. Oh no, maybe they're not. Oh man, Labonte got loose. Still loose in turns 1 and 2. He's trying everything he could to not cut into Mark Martin. Oh, Martin just doors him going into turn 1. What was that for? Mark Martin just drilled Terry Labonte coming out of the pit lane. I think he noticed he was the leader. He's like, I'm not going another lap down until he pits. I mean, Martin just full throttled Labonte going into 3. Basically used him as his brakes. At the minus 60. He's going to have to get around Kenseth pretty cleanly. And he will. Nice clean pass on his rival Kenseth. That should put Kenseth to minus 58. So therefore, he's no longer mad enough to take a swing at us. All 4 times we caught him in this race under green. Or I should say not in the pits. It's worked out. Well, Dale Jr.'s on pit road. I guess now would be the time to try and find either Sterling Marlin or Michael Waltrip and try to turn him. Maybe we get lucky and we actually do get a caution right now because I know Jr.'s already pit because he's not in second anymore.
Take it easy out there.
For this being just a blowout race, again, I commend you guys for sticking with us here tonight as we still try to have fun, try to get to you guys in the comment section. Ooh. Steve Park pulled down into Terry Labonte off the turn. Well, he didn't really turn down into him. He just didn't go up the racetrack, I guess, like Terry was hoping. I don't know, these guys have done that today, though. It wasn't the first driver. Very minimal contact, though. Terry's not too upset about it. I mean, it's going to take a lot to take him off today with the way things have been going up to this point. Absolutely perfect. About to end the cold streak with not winning in this Tony the Tiger scheme. We're 0 for 7 with this scheme this year, but this is actually a good race to break the curse. We might have to bring the Cheez-It scheme back. We might just run it for the rest of the season, honestly. We never lost with it. Not when we opened up a bag of Cheez-Its when we were doing it. We ran it once, and we didn't actually have Cheez-Its with us. And if I remember right, I think we finished like 13th at Texas. But then the 4 races after that, we ran the Cheez-It paint scheme, we won. And it was because we had the good luck charm of eating Cheez-Its at some point throughout the course of the race. Michael Turner, welcome to the stream. I am ready for spring too. Unfortunately, it's not coming anytime soon. We're supposed to have, like, I wouldn't say record low temperatures, but our coldest temperatures of this winter this weekend. So, on top of all the snow we got last week, kind of covered it a little bit ago, but and it's supposed to have like a high of 6 degrees on Monday next week. And then Sunday night into Monday is supposed to be -2 overnight, but then the wind chill is supposed to be right around -20. Welcome to Northwest Ohio in February. February/January. Oh, Behind really sent it in there. It's underneath Ken Schrader. I wonder if Schrader might be on older tires still. I'm not sure who has pitted and who hasn't. Junior's back to 4th. Oh boy, look at Bodine. He is just on a mission right now. 3 wide into the corner. And he went down to the apron to get around LePage and Ashton Lewis. That was insane.
You're making me nervous. Get in here for some gas.
Bonnie went 129 laps on his first fuel run, so if he was to go that far again, he wouldn't have to pit until lap 258. And that would put him about a dozen laps shy of being able to make it on fuel to the end of the race from there. But everybody was going to have to take 3 stops anyway. Look at Martin down to the apron. To get around Terry Labonte. Terry trying to get back underneath him off turn 4. Martin in 2nd right now. Ooh, little contact. 3 wide up the middle. Martin just trying to hang on to it. A little bit more contact. Of the major. Not yet, at least. Terry's really loose on these old tires. Wow, Martin really crowded in that time. Terry still beats him back to the gas and clears him with a clean pass that time, but Martin not giving up the fight. Bonnie clear again off turn 4. I don't know if I've ever gone a full race in NASCAR Thunder 04 and not hit the wall. We might do it today.
I'd like to see him stay back there.
I could be wrong, but I couldn't tell you when we did it. I couldn't tell you, honestly, when I did it on any NASCAR video game doing a full race and never hitting the wall once. Hey, that's just tough to do. Like, sometimes, like, you just lack of attention. You might scrape it a tiny bit down the straightaway. Not like it really, you know, hurts the car or anything, but it's just so hard to do. Especially with this being a short track on this game. I'm very proud of myself. 250 laps in. I mean, that's like a full Xfinity race at this point.
Keep an eye on your mirror. He's not too happy with you. Try to keep him behind you.
Probably about 5 laps or so away, maybe even a little less for Terry Labonte, and he'll be bringing that car to pit road for the second time today. It'll be a second to last pit stop as well. Still caution-free at Richmond. I think we might break the record for the most caution-free races in a single season on the channel. I don't think we've ever had more than 2. We very rarely have 1 as it is, but we've had 2 this season already. Though, again, the first Richmond race saw a caution come out with about 50 laps to go, just over 50 laps to go.
We don't want him getting beside us.
So we can go a little bit further on fuel. And probably lap 258 would have been the same amount of laps he ran the last time. He's got a half a gallon left. Lap 256. I don't think he's going to make it to lap 258 this time. He should be able to stay on one more lap after this. So it looks like lap 257 will be Labonte's time to come to pit road. Just think though, Bobby Labonte won last night. Terry might win tonight. Labonte would go back-to-back at least. And there's a little more contact with Kevin Grubb. Nothing too major, luckily. All 4 tires pretty worn out though, so that was a big cause of it. And into pit road. Oh! Man! Labonte just nosed the wall coming to pit road. We stayed green though and never brought out a caution, but that's going to give him more damage at the last second. Tires just kept spinning when he was on the brakes trying to get to pit road. That was not a clean entry. He'll repair the damage. At least it wasn't heavy damage. Oh, that's the first time we've hit the wall today. That shouldn't even count. I don't even know how that happened. At least we're still caution-free. That's what Labonte needs. Second pit stop, no mistakes. This will be the night for them to make a mistake, though. That's the problem. With Labonte having this big of a lead, it's not going to affect him much. So he comes back up onto the racetrack. I'll tell you what, just running this good in this race just makes me excited for these final 10 races after this. Like, I think we have a shot to come back. Like, we need luck. And we might not get... Junior might not DNF once this year. We need him to DNF twice. He might not even DNF another time this season. And it might all be for naught, but... Boy, if he does, and we can come from 15th in points in the final 11 races, we have our best tracks to go. Well, this is our best track. But then we still have some good tracks to come. The next 3 races alone are very well winnable. Reasonable shot that we could have won all 3. We did win Talladega earlier this year, so we can definitely do that again. Even though I don't have luck on the super speedways with this game. Talladega I have luck with. Daytona I just can never have luck with. I think on all 4 full race live streams, we did not win a single one of them. Didn't win a Daytona 500 on this game, unfortunately. Finished second in season 1, then we didn't DNF out of any of them either. We won all the exhibition races, although not all of them. We DNF'd out of the Bud Shootout our first season. Second season we won it by a lot. And then we won both the duels in both the seasons. It's just the points races at Daytona really bit us. I think the July Daytona race on both season 1 and season 2, we finished 28th, 28th in the first race, and then 13th, was it? Yeah, I think it was 13th that we finished in the second one. This season's. We finished in the top 10 in both 500s. It's just those extra 100 miles shorter. Just couldn't get the job done. For whatever reason. Nowhere close to it either. He finally drives underneath Kurt Busch. I'm surprised Kurt Busch wasn't faster than what I was expecting today. Again, he was fastest in first practice. He just hasn't shown that same speed. I don't even think he's really been in the top 10 that much today. Now, I would have to imagine some drivers will pit as soon as that window opens up to make it to the end of the race. And that window will be opening up here in about 5 to 10 laps. We know Labonte was able to make it 129 laps and 128 laps on his 2 runs. So that's pretty much the maximum I think that anybody could go. And he stayed out longer than everybody else. Both runs. I mean, everything's just spot on with this car today. It has not hit the outside wall once all day long. The only reason we hit the inside wall was on pit entry, that last pit stop. Again, not sure how that happened. I was just kind of on the brakes and it just kept turning. A lot of it was probably the analog stick, even though we haven't really had much problems with it outside of that here today. Well, there's still 130 laps for Junior to blow an engine. So although he's been running top 3 pretty much the whole race, he hasn't led a lap, and I don't know, maybe something happens. Imagine Mark Martin second in points, but he's 91 back, so even he's hoping Junior DNFs too. Boy, if he did that, Martin finishes second. I think Mark Martin might actually take the points lead. Tony Stewart got really loose in turn 3. He bobbled, but he still cleared Bill Elliott.
Take care of those Goodyear Eagles.
He thought Stewart was loose in the last corner. Labonte was really loose right there. Almost got in the wall for the first time. That was close. He got back in the gas a little too soon after the car started to slide a little bit. Bill Elliott just chopped his nose off. And now Elliott's upset with Labonte, even though he made the contact by pulling off a bad block.
Keep an eye on your mirror. He's not too happy with you. You're clear.
We're going to alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in this race today.
Number 20 is outside.
Or sorry, not the first time, the third time. Did it a couple times earlier. Contact with Tony Stewart getting into turn 1. Wanted to fight for the same spot there, I guess. And he really backs up. Turn 3, and he's able to beat Newman back to the gas off turn 4.
All clear, buddy. Got one high.
Oh, man.
22.
Boy, Burt now makes contact with Terry Labonte. Labonte couldn't go any lower there. They were 3 wide, though. Burton probably just ran out of room. Kevin Grove's got a couple donuts on the side of his car. He probably pulled the same move he did there, just crowding guys off of the exit of the corner. Wasn't the first guy somebody did that to Labonte, and probably won't be the last in this race. Yeah, we've got some guys short pitting right now. Kind of expected that. Window is open for everybody to make it on field at the end of the race, so they are all pitting right now. Oh, he barely cleared Greg Biffle off the exit of the corner. Pretty heavy lap traffic coming up here in a couple laps as well, unless some of those guys might be on fresh tires. I'm not entirely sure, but not all of them.
Gotta keep him behind you.
I'm going to have to watch some of these guys coming off of pit road. Mark Martin just absolutely door-checked Terry Labonte earlier coming out of the pits.
Number 23 is outside.
Kenny Wallace kind of crowding.
Still there. They're on both sides.
You let him by, he's gonna make things tough.
Oh, contact with Hermie Sadler.
Number 02 is looking to pass.
Well, this is probably about as heavy of lap traffic as we've seen, or at least as thick of lap cars right around the race leader all day.
Take it easy on those
Big
starts.
slide getting into the corner.
The 31 car is still there.
Keep an eye on your mirror. He's not too happy with you.
Number 31 is still there. Clear.
Terry Labonte's going to short pit here in a couple laps as well, just to get that last pit stop out of the way. And you won't have to worry about pitting again the rest of the race.
The 25 car is outside. Number 25 is still there.
We don't want him getting beside us.
You're clear. Outside. Clear all around.
Michael Waltrip, Sterling Marlin, just a reminder, our two rivals.
Number 15.
We're nearing about 100 laps to go in today's race. Big dive off of turn 4 by Labonte. He's going to get around Waltrip pretty cleanly this time.
Both sides.
I'd like to see him stay back there.
Another big dive off of turn 4, 3 wide. Put Marlin another lap down. Sterling's been in the top 10 most of the day. There's the third place driver, Dale Jr. Gordon is running him down for the spot. Jr.'s got quite a bit of lap traffic ahead of him.
No one outside.
So Labonte's got a 4-lap lead over second place right now. It's just kind of averaged out for the moment. Terry Labonte going to be coming to pit road this time to make his final pit stop of the race as Dale Jr. got a brake checks, seemingly accidentally though. 4 fresh tires, full tank of fuel. Damage will be repaired here for Terry Labonte. His final pit stop of the day. No adjustments needed. It has been a bad, fast race car all day long. So we're going to short pit for this final stop. He's got a 4-lap lead on the field when he came into the pits. Credit to Labonte's crew. They might go 3 for 3 on clean stops. Even if they make a mistake here, it's not going to cost Terry anything. It shouldn't, at least. And yeah, no mistakes.
The 97 car is outside. Clear.
It's what you want.
The 22 car up high. Number 22.
Terry Labonte's got fresh tires, just over 100 laps to go still, and I believe it's probably a 2-lap lead on Mark Martin, but it's averaged out to make it look like it's 3.
The 17 car is blocking. Number 18 is down low. On your line. Still there.
To the outside of Bobby Labonte. Oh boy, that was a little treacherous. That might be the first time Labonte's actually entered on the outside in a corner all day. Just been fast enough to get right underneath these guys, but lanes were a little too clogged right there. Gasses it around Kurt Busch though, and he'll go another lap down. Bonnie's led every lap so far. 300 laps in the books. Another 100 laps still to go.
Lap 300. Keep it up.
Pretty uneventful. As uneventful as a race could get. I'd say this is probably even more uneventful than the first Richmond race. Bonnie, not as drastic as Sprague. He kind of clipped the apron on corner entry.
Clear on both sides.
Bonnie hasn't even been in the red all day long. We mentioned he hasn't even hit the outside wall at all in today's race. That's how clean of a race Terry Labonte's had.
You're clear. The 2 car up high.
Going for the sweep of Richmond.
Clear all around.
Nobody's been able to sweep any racetrack so far this season. Labonte looking to be the first. And really, it's a race with him and himself, which has been all day anyway, with him leading every lap. But it was a battle for the lead for about those first 20, 25 laps with Stewart and Martin, but that was about it.
Number 29 is coming high. Clear on both sides. Number 31 is outside.
Easy now. We need some of that
Big
grip.
loose moment right there.
The 31 car is still there. Okay, we're clear.
Settle down.
Number 31 is
And more
outside.
contact with Robbie Gordon.
You're clear. On pass. Okay, we're clear. Number 25, no pass.
Sure, you hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. If you are watching right now, get daily NASCAR content on the channel. There's full race live streams with a realistic broadcast, a huge part of it. Just a quiet race. Not a lot is going on. Terry Labonte's led every lap, and we haven't had a caution either. This could be the third caution-free race of the season if we get to the end. And considering that yesterday's race at Darlington, nonetheless, for the Southern 500 went 250 laps green to the end on that final green flag run after having only 2 cautions that entire 500-mile race. The trickiest track on the circuit.
Still there. Take it easy.
That was impressive of itself.
All clear, buddy.
It's kind of been the story of the season, though. Not a lot of cautions in the majority of these races. A lot less cautions, I think, than what we had in Season 1. Fortunately, the cautions that have happened, we've been involved in. Not as many AI wrecks as what we had in that first season. We did have one yesterday, though. Mayfield spun all by himself, right in front of the leaders. At the time, too. Could have been really bad.
45 car is passing high. You're clear.
Ooh, Kyle Petty bounced off the wall off turn 2. Yeah, Labonte's not going to try and turn. Sterling Marlin right there. Not looking for the payback.
All clear, buddy.
Here's Michael Waltrip. Junior's racing right around him. Ooh, contact Craven. And Labonte's just going to race right around Waltrip right now as well.
Keep an eye on your rear. He's not too happy.
Not going to pay him back quite yet. Dale Jr.'s back to 4th. Still a solid night. And even a top 10 is just solid at this point for Junior. Martin's going to outscore him by a little bit if the positions stay where they're at. I think those guys still have to pit one more time to the end. I don't know who all has and who hasn't. Maybe Junior will fade outside the top 5 if it does run green. Just with those guys short pitting as soon as that window opened, right about 120 laps to go.
The 99 car is gaining on you. Okay, we're clear. Got one out.
But everybody that's only pitted twice so far will have to pit one more time. Labonte took his final stop already. He's got one of the freshest tires in the field, if not the freshest tires in the field after short pitting. He short pitted a little later than everybody else. He didn't pit right when that window opened. He waited about another 15 laps. Kurt Busch is blowing an engine. Tough break for him. Inside of the racetrack.
The 41 car is outside. Clear all ramps.
I believe that's the third driver to blow an engine tonight, along with Mike Skinner, Ricky Rudd, and now Kurt Busch.
On pass. Number 43 is passing Hines. Okay, we're clear. Slide signs. Still there.
Jack Sprague has been crowding Labonte all day long. Did it again right there. Maybe not every time Labonte's tried to make a pass on him. Speaking of how many times he's probably caught him in this caution-free race, but he's caught him quite a few times, and he's pinched him down a few. He's made contact a couple times already, in itself as well.
Clear. No one outside. You're clear. Number 2 is outside. Clear all ramps.
It's heavy lap traffic. Gonna alternate to the different camera angles one final time in today's race for about the next dozen laps. Oh, 3 wide goes Elliott. All the way to the apron. Made a little contact with Rusty Wallace on his way by. Oh, big checkup getting into the corner. Elliott and Kenseth both. There was just a big checkup for some reason. Oh, and Harvick checks up again. What is going on here?
The 9 car is still there.
Somebody is holding this pack up.
Okay, we're clear.
Body's just running in the back of these guys accidentally. Steve Park, I believe.
Car is outside.
It's running really slow. Maybe he blew an engine earlier in the race and is just holding everybody up. I'm not sure. Could be Joe Nemechek. I really don't know. That was very strange. Oh, 3 or 4 corners in a row.
5 car is still there. Okay.
And Labonte gets tight and makes a little contact with Nemechek. Of course, these races are never easy. And now we're rivals with Bill Elliott and Matt Kenseth again. So even if that doesn't mean terror for this race, what does that mean for the next couple races? Favorite season of the year? Summer for sure. I just love golfing. Golfing, you got NASCAR in full swing.
The 1 car is outside.
Traveling to different racetracks, playing different golf courses. It's a lot easier in the summertime because it doesn't rain as much as what it would in the spring. And in the fall, at least in Northwest Ohio, it can be a little too windy at times. So, yeah, summer's the way to go. I play better when it's hot outside, too. You get that humidity, the ball just carries and carries. Especially if you get a good swing on it. Kyle Petty, sorry. I believe battling for position right now with Jamie McMurray. Lonnie gets underneath both of them. Oh boy, he slid the tires quite a bit to get around both into turns 1 and 2.
22 car is outside. Number 22 is still there. You're clear.
Bobby Labonte trying to go for back-to-back top fives. Newman there for at least a 3 to 4 race stretch was probably the hottest driver. I think that's going to Bobby Labonte now. Outside of the one DNF he's had in the last 4 or 5 races, he's got 1 win. He's actually got 2 wins in about a 6 or 7 race stretch. Still waiting on some of those other drivers to pit one final time. Michael Waltrip right in front of Dale Jr. Here's Sterling Marlin as well. I'll tell you what, man, if we could wreck Waltrip and take Jr. out in the process, that'd be epic. I don't know if it might go the way it's playing. Oh, we got blown engine on the inside of the track. Jeremy Mayfield. He's not going to take a swing at Waltrip right there. Still got a little bit of a ways to go. If we do decide to do that, or we just let it run caution. I hate the fact that this is probably Labonte's best race he's ran all year. By far his best race he's ran in the last 13 races. Even the one race he won at Indy with that last lap pass for the win, although that was a great win and a more prestigious race than this one. And the fact it came down to the wire, like I mentioned, the last lap pass for the win, as great as that was, it obviously was a good race start to finish for Labonte, as this one is. And this is his best race of the year, and sure enough, Junior's been running top 5 all night, just waiting for the end of the race to get those points for his finishing position. We'll see. I think Mark Martin hit pit road. Some of these other drivers pitting for their final time.
The 41 car is up high. Clear all around. The 88 car is outside. You're clear. Got one outside. All clear, buddy. Got one out. The 23 car is coming up.
Now, when we had that caution at Richmond earlier this year, again, I believe it came out at lap 348. That was the only caution we had the entire race. And we are fastly approaching that point here in this one. Will the trends continue? Larry McReynolds was here. Will the trends continue? A lot of drivers on pit road as we speak.
31 car is
I
outside.
don't think Junior's pit yet.
Clear all around. Got one outside.
Dale Jr. up to second.
You're clear.
Junior waits and waits and waits to be the last car to hit pit road. That could also help Terry Labonte that way as well. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the summertime is great. Being outside.
Trying to block it. Number 17 up high.
Ken's had thought about taking a swing there.
Clear all around.
Gordon really got loose. Gordon drove it in deep trying to get up to speed into turn 3 as well.
Number 10, up out. The 10 car is still there.
Big loose moment there. Yeah, it's going to get tight. Oh, maybe not. Thought they were going to be 3 wide there for a moment. Oh, Hermie Sadler did exactly what Mark Martin did earlier, just sent it into 3, even though they were 3 wide. Though when Martin did it earlier, they weren't 3 wide. Very risky situation. Now, man, they were still 3 wide. I had no clue. Contact with Ward Burton. I believe Dale Jr. is coming to pit road this time. How much time is he going to lose to some of these other guys? He might fall outside the top 5. Jr. being one of the last drivers to hit pit road. We'll have 50 laps to go this time by. Bobby Labonte has actually cycled a second. Can the Labonte brothers finish 1-2? Second race in a row. Boy, Bobby, though, winning yesterday. If he can finish second today, remember, he's got a real shot at the championship still as well. Yeah, exactly, Ethan. 49 laps left. Yeah, Junior's outside the top 5. Sure exactly where he's at in the running order, but he's not in the top 5 anymore. But he'll be on fresher tires trying to run those guys back down again, so we'll see. Oh, man, Johnson checked up coming to pit road. I don't know where the spotter was on that one. There's second place driver Bobby Labonte on those a little bit older tires. He's one of the first drivers that hit pit road, so that's why he cycled into second. I don't think he'll stay there. Bill Elliott's a rival of Terry Labonte's as well, so Terry's just going to try to stay away from him if he can help it. 3 wide to the inside. Oh, wow, that was a big slide getting into the corner. Oh, both rivals right there. Oh, boy. Elliott just kind of squeezed him a little bit. Oh, there's more contact. Hang on.
Number 9 is still there.
Bonnie's just trying to stay on the inside and get away from Bill Elliott. And Matt Kenseth, they're both right there. Kenseth was just coming out of the pit lane. Kenseth's going to have fresher tires. He's going to try to run Labonte down. Of course, my luck at the end of a race. We're about got sandwiched between 2 rivals. Oh, we got a caution. Caution at lap 356, our first of the race. Looks like there might have been a crash off of turn 2. Casey Mears, Brett Bodine. Oh, huge crash. Casey Mears. The rear of the car came on fire. Got drilled by Bodine and I think somebody else off of turn 4. There were 3 cars involved in the accident. That was the first caution of the day. Well, we almost went caution free. Oh, Dale Jr. came into pit again. He's in 6th. Green flag back in the air. Oh, geez. Labonte spun his tires on the restart. Contact with Martin. 41 laps to go here today at Richmond. Hopefully cautions don't start breeding cautions here. Just need to get to the end of this one. Yeah, about similar to what race 1 was, where we go caution-free for the first 350 laps approximately, and we get a caution. This one went maybe about 7 or 8 laps longer, and that was it. So, Larry McReynolds' trends, I guess, go into fruition here tonight at Richmond, where that one and only caution might come out right about that lap 350 mark for the second consecutive Richmond race. Well, small wreck considering the cars. It was a hard crash. That's what I kind of meant by big wreck. Case Mears is done for the day, unfortunately. That's the second straight race Mears has been in a hard wreck. He flipped multiple times end over end at Darlington yesterday. Might have to go to a concussion protocol or something. No, it's a video game, but man, 2 violent crashes. Not as violent as yesterday's, but in fact, that car caught fire. I don't know how he slowed up to begin with. Something happened. Something had to have broke on the car for him to get in that position. And by the way, Labonte just hit the wall for the first time today. The outside wall for the first time. Trying to get around Mark Martin. You know, if I would have known Junior was going to pit, I would have stayed out and tried to give more guys the wave around, maybe to get away from Junior. Or, you know, catch back up on the same lap as him. That would have been a great strategy call if we would have pitted there, but I mean, hindsight's always 20/20. I didn't know anybody was gonna pit there, honestly, this late in the race. And, hey, I typically don't pit in this game for whatever reason under cautions if they can help it. And knowing everybody was good on field to the end, yeah, it was pretty surprising. It's just a 6-lap lead on the field. Bobby Labonte still in second, though. Great run for him. Maybe there's still a chance off this restart that things are bunched up around Junior and he gets in a crash himself. That'd be awesome. Ryan Newman up to 4th. Again, shout out to Ward Burton. He's been in the top 5 all day long. There's only a couple guys that are 6 laps down. A large majority of the field are at least 7 or more. So Bobby Labonte might actually pan out here. Dale Jr. starting to cut his way through traffic. He might be an extra lap down. I'm not entirely sure how much ground he lost with staying out as long as he did. I'll have to wait and see. I mean, if Junior finishes outside the top 10, I mean, that's fine by me. He's definitely outside the top 5. Ooh, he locked the brakes up quite a bit getting into turn 1. There will be lap traffic again before the end of this race. If we stay green, at least for the next couple laps, they'll start to catch him. It's kind of how it was at the beginning of the race, where Terry Labonte was a few car lengths ahead of Stuart Martin. That was it. Until about 25 laps in, he started pulling away when they got to lap traffic. And then the longer the run went, the faster and faster Labonte was compared to everybody else. Looks to lead all 400 laps for the second Richmond race this season. And be the 3rd time ever in the channel's history. Granted, again, only the first calendar year of the channel, but the 3rd time in channel history, and all within the last few months, that we would go not caution-free, that we would, I'm messing up my words here, it's been a long day, not a lot of action's gone on here. It's felt like a longer race than what it actually has. The pace is quick because we've only had 1 caution, so I guess that's nice. This race started less than 2.5 hours ago, so this is a very fast race today. But anyway, what I was going to say, I kind of lost where I was at. 26 to go. Well, Junior's back into the top 5. I think he got around Burton for position. I think he can catch Martin and Newman and get as high as 3rd. But he's not going to be able to catch Labonte Labonte's a whole nother lap ahead of him.
Number 16 is outside.
Well, Sterling Marlin just got around Junior, so maybe Junior will keep fading. Who knows? Oop, Bobby Labonte to the inside of Terry, off of turn 2. Terry back in front of him, but Bobby drives it in deep into 3 and 4. Oh, man. Bobby almost got into his brother there off of turn 4. Still side by side, and Terry's just going to let his brother go to the inside in 1 and 2, and he might actually cross him over. Looking to the inside himself into turn 3 again. Oh, slides the tires. Uses Elliott Sadler as a pick. And he puts Labonte 6 laps down again. Sorry for that, by the way. Mark Martin cannot be caught by Junior, so Junior can finish as high as 4th.
Number 9 is going for the mark. The 9 car is outside.
There's Bill Elliott. I forgot Elliott was a rival there for a second. Bonnie gets around him cleanly. Luckily, I'm surprised Elliott did not take a swing. He definitely had a chance to there. More clean air for the time being now for Terry Labonte. Elliott and Benson might have made contact back there and let Labonte get around him. Saw sparks flying.
Keep an eye on your mirror. He's not too happy with you.
Must be talking about Bill Elliott. I don't know how Bobby Labonte would be upset. 20 laps to go at Richmond.
Got 20 laps left.
Terry Labonte looking for that 8th win of the season. Second in a 13-race stretch. And it'll be the first win in 5 races. Hard to believe it's been that many races since the last win already. 3 DNFs and a 20th place finish. Should be the first top 10 in 5 races, too. Yeah, exactly. It's not worth trying to get the payback on... Well, I'm not looking to get payback on Kenseth or Bill Elliott. They didn't do anything to us yet. Since being rivals, but hopefully they don't at all. We've stayed away from everybody and had a lot of clean passes tonight, so... I mean, again, just a clean race. We've only gotten in the outside wall once this entire race. And it came on that last restart. Still waiting for Junior to blow an engine.
The 32 car, number
If he's going to blow it, he might as well blow it soon. Otherwise, save that blown engine for another race where it's like earlier and he can finish even further back than where he is. Because a couple guys got taken out in that last accident. We did have 3 engine failures before that. So if he had an engine failure now, and given how many laps down everybody is in the long green flag runs, he'd probably still have a chance to finish top 30, to be quite honest. And he almost drove it in too deep. I'm just hoping he finishes outside the top 10 somehow. I don't think that's going to happen, but I guess you never know.
He's starting to feel
Tony Stewart's really faded on this run. Nearly 3 wide going into turn 1. Bonnie got really loose and just kind of let those guys pull ahead of him. Bodine's still in the race. Another lap down. 14 to go. There's Ryan. Oh, boy. Big loose moment. Up the track goes Labonte. Oh, Stewart kind of crowded him into the wall. Contact with Bobby down the racetrack. That's the second time that Labonte's been in the wall now, and all in the last 40 laps of the race. That was not his fault, though. They were just tight, 3 wide off the exit of the corner. Stewart didn't mean to put him in the wall. Just got crowded all of a sudden.
Number 43 is still there. All clear, buddy. The 12 car is outside.
There's Newman in 4th. He's on older tires. Hopefully Junior doesn't catch him. He might. There's still 11 to go. 11 to go this time, by to be exact.
The 22 car outside.
10 to go. Honestly, if the caution came out, that would secure Labonte the second place position. Well, not anymore. Never mind. Got caught behind Montgomery through 3 and 4, and Labonte puts him 6 laps down again. These guys have gone back and forth. Again, the second time this year, the Labonte brothers will finish 1-2 this year if we stay green to the finish. And as long as nothing drastic happens to Bobby. And both times, it will be Terry Labonte winning that race. Last time was at Pocono on a green-white checker finish, a much different circumstance, a lot closer of a finish as well. Tell you what, I think collectively we've had better finishes on Season 2 than Season 1. But there was like 2 races in Season 1 that like I was shaking at the end of it. That's how close it was. So we probably had like the closer finishes of the 2. But we've had more collectively close finishes in this one, this season.
Still beside you.
Walked up the track right in front of Kenny Wallace. It was a little bit of a checkup. Labonte anticipated it, though. 6 laps to go this time by. Barely kept it off Biffle. He got a little tight into turn 3. No contact, no clean pass. Marlin back into 5th. I want to see where Ward Burton's going to climb in the points. He has done a tremendous job. Top 5 all day long. It'll be his 3rd top 5 in a 5-race stretch, and to be back-to-back top 5s. Burton just moved into 10th in points. He's going to beat the points leader today again, and we have 5 laps to go for him to just make it to the end.
The 23 car is looking right. All clear, buddy.
Hopefully Newman stays ahead of Junior if he's still ahead of him. He's obviously fallen outside the top 5. He was in 4th.
Go easy on those Eagles, driver.
He's on those older tires. One of the few drivers that did not pit under the last caution.
All clear, buddy.
And probably one of the drivers that pitted right when that window opened. Those guys were pitting under green with about 110 laps to go or so in the race. 3 to go this time by for Terry Labonte. It'll be the 5th race this year in which we will finish with just 1 caution. And the 7th race in which we finish with 1 or less. We had 2 yesterday at Darlington. Starting to fall right back to how it was at the beginning of the year, where we didn't have a lot of cautions in a lot of the races. 2 to go now for Terry Labonte.
Let's finish strong.
Yeah, Chicagoland Season 1 was probably the craziest finish I think I've ever been a part of on the channel. It was, I mean, everything was in it. It was fuel mileage. It was the last lap pass for the win. It was nearly a photo finish if it wasn't for Gordon running in the back of Biffle off of 4 after Biffle ran out of gas. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go here today at Richmond. Bonnie's got Bill Elliott right in front of him. He's not even going to worry about trying to pass him. Elliott's a rival. Last thing he wants to do is crash right off of turn 4 on the last lap. So he's just going to sit behind him, checker flag in the air. Terry Labonte wins at Richmond. Breaking the 5. I like how he still tries to hit us after the race is over. That's hilarious. Terry Labonte gets the win. And gets the Richmond sweep. First driver to get a sweep of a racetrack all season. A little Polish victory lap to go along with it. Just 4 top 10s in the last 13 races, but for Terry Labonte, this win gives him that edge back. That the season isn't quite over yet. The smoke already pouring out of the race car.
The drivers didn't spend much time on.
And we broke the Tony the Tiger streak. We were 0 for 7 in points races with this paint scheme. We finally won a race with it. I mean, I figured at some point we were going to have to win with our primary scheme. At some point. And it comes in a caution-free, or sorry, not a caution-free race. Again, 1 caution, but Terry Labonte led every lap in this race today. Sure enough that a Chevy won the Chevy Rock and Roll 400, by the way, as well, with Terry Labonte going to victory lane here today. We'll take a look at the finishing order. Looks like Dale Jr. finished 6th, so he had a pretty good run. He was in the top 5 all day. He faded on that last restart, so it looked like he was going to have a top 3 pretty much on lock. So I guess it's good he lost a couple spots with that caution, but definitely, again, he's going to need to DNF twice this year on top of us going on an absolute tear at the end of this season for us to have a shot to win the title. Nobody got bonus points outside of Terry Labonte, who gets 10 for leading every single lap of this race. He led the most laps, which gave him the 10 bonus points, but nobody else led any. A 6-lap win on the field for Terry Labonte. Largest margin of victory I've ever had in any NASCAR game with this full race live streams. That's insane. So obviously a channel record right there. Bobby Labonte finishes 2nd, so the Labonte brothers won 2 for the 2nd time this year. As mentioned, Terry Labonte won both of those races. The first one came in the first Pocono race this season. Mark Martin finishes in 3rd after starting 2nd. He had a great car. He was pretty much top 3 all day long as well. Ward Burton was top 5 all day long. Qualified 11th. Finished 4th. Great run. Sterling Marlin from the rear of the field actually finished 5th. Great run. To do that on a race with just one caution on a short track, very impressive. Marlin had a fast car and finished strong as well. Dale Jr. 6th, as mentioned. Ryan Newman 7th. Rusty Wallace 8th. Jeff Gordon 9th. And Kevin Harvick rounds out the top 10 here tonight. Harvick also started at the rear and had a good finish. Tony Stewart really faded late. Staying out of the pits did not help him on that last restart. He falls all the way back to 17th at the end of today's race. We'll take a look at who all DNF. We saw Mike Skinner blow an engine. Ricky Rudd blew an engine. Kurt Busch blew an engine. Jeremy Mayfield blew an engine. And then Casey Mears was in a violent accident off turn 2. That was the only caution of the day at lap 344. 344 for him. I think the caution actually came out right about lap 356 for us. So, what is that? 5 drivers Yeah, I had that right. 5 drivers DNF'd in tonight's race. We'll take a look at the point standings, the upcoming races, and then we'll get on out of here for the night. Thanks for everybody tuning in. Like, share, but most importantly, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Again, we do these full race live streams with a realistic broadcast every day in the hopes of me one day living my dream of broadcasting real races within the NASCAR realm. So it's going to be a long but fun journey for sure. So definitely have to subscribe just for that, especially if you're a NASCAR fan. Sylvania 300. We have the next race tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at New Hampshire. Second race there on the season. Dale Jr. has pulled ahead a little bit more in the standings. He has a 112-point lead. Dale Jarrett, who went in 91 points back in second. I mentioned Martin was second. Actually, Martin was third. So although Mark Martin gains points on Jr., Jr. gains points overall. He actually gains 21 points. So Junior starting to pull away with it late, but still the top 5 are within 1 race worth of points. With 10 races to go. That's impressive on a season-long championship. There you see Jarrett still 3rd. Bobby Labonte moves up to 4th in the standings within a race now. After that 2nd place, back-to-back top 2s for Bobby as well. Jeff Gordon 5th. Matt Kenseth 6th. Jeff Burton 7th. Tony Stewart 8th. Ward Burton moves up 1 more spot. He's up to 9th. And Ryan Newman rounds out the top 10, just getting back in the top 10 of points. Newman was our Season 1 champ. He didn't win any races in Season 1, but he has won 1 so far in Season 2. And we move up 1 spot in the points today from 14th to 15th. We're 519 back. We went into the day, what was it, 554? Yeah, we were 554 back going in, 519 back now. So 10 races to go there. We'll see. Again, we're going to need help. We're going to need Junior to DNF probably twice. Everybody else on the top 5 probably once. And maybe we win out, and that's our way to win the championship. We might have to do that. Thanks for everybody tuning in. Again, I've already told you guys to like, share, but most importantly, subscribe. And we will see you guys tomorrow night, hopefully. And again, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for that. We'll run at New Hampshire. One of the shortest races of the season, only 300 miles in length, so it should be another quick one. This one was quick simply because we only had 1 caution. We got it done in less than 2.5 hours, so that was pretty cool. Thanks for everybody tuning in here tonight. I will see you tomorrow at 7 on Thunder 04 right here on the channel.